So if you're suffering with fatigue, burnout, exhaustion, and you're at your wit's end and you're not sure what to do, you're looking for information, I think this video is going to be very helpful for you because you're going to learn about the top 5 gene SNPs that are related to your fatigue. Now, there's over 20,000 different genes, and this is just my opinion of what the top 5 gene SNPs are. If you're not sure what a gene SNP is, it stands for a single nucleotide polymorphism. Basically means that the genes that we inherited from mom and dad, they aren't passed down correctly, and it's kind of like a credit card processing machine or a Xerox copier machine where the card or the piece of paper goes in sideways. It can't read it effectively, and it's not reproducing those enzymes. And depending what those enzymes do in terms of speeding up reactions in the body, if they're not being copied properly, it's going to impact the way that the body's dealing with stress. So that's the way I would explain that. So the top 5 gene SNPs, because I've suffered with an exhaustion, fatigue, burnout problem, been to different doctors being told that my blood tests are normal, and then I had to go down these rabbit holes to determine what's going on from a genetic standpoint. Could I have some weakened ability to make energy? And it's not that the genes are the end all be all, it's the environmental triggers that overlap with the genetic loaded guns that create the challenges in your body. So without further ado, let's get into these. CYP21A2, CYP21A2. So what does this gene do? This gene helps to convert progesterone into cortisol. And so we make cortisol, we make our sex hormones from cholesterol. Cholesterol converts into progesterone, and then it goes down different pathways. Progesterone converts into cortisol whenever you have stress, whenever you have immune system activation, whenever you have environmental triggers, allergens, dust, danders, alcohol. And when you're not converting and squeezing that juice to get all the sponge to get all that juice out of it, you're going to be low on cortisol, and if you're under stress, you're going to be tired. That's going to be the first gene. The second gene is going to be the ATOX, ATP7A, ATP7B. I have this one as well. This gene is responsible for proper copper regulation. You never hear about copper, but copper is essential, like a battery, the copper top battery, or a wire around your extension cord or the outlet. The copper helps to bring the electrons to make the power. And the ATOX or ATP7A, 7B, they help to bring copper from outside of the cell into the cell, and that's important for creating the energy to get rid of free radicals. If you're not getting rid of free radicals, you're going to be aging, you're going to have a lot more smoke coming out of the tailpipe, and you're going to be a lot more tired. The next one is the SLC40A1. This is a huge problem I see with a lot of our most challenged patients. What this is responsible for the doorway to allow iron to move out of your enterocytes. And not just your enterocytes, all your tissues. Iron has a very easy way in and a very difficult way out. And if your ferroportin doorway is polymorphic, or if you have a SNP that is this particular SNP, when you have Lyme, when you have mold, when you have Epstein-Barr, when you have other immune challenges and you need to move that iron out of tissue, but that doorway isn't allowing you to do that, you're going to be exhausted and tired. The fourth one is going to be NRF2 Keep 1. NRF2 Keep 1, you may have heard about this. We call this our antioxidant response elements. So think about if you're in a building and there's a fire, God forbid, and the smoke starts rising to the ceiling, the fire sensors, the smoke alarms, sound the alarms and allow the water to go. NRF2 Keep 1 work together to be able to sense the stimuli to release the antioxidants to put out the fires. If that gene isn't working, or those 2 genes aren't working nice together, then you're going to have a fire without the fireman turning on the hose, being able to extinguish the fire. You're going to be more tired, more exhausted, because you're putting more of your energy into putting the fire out than being able to build up the other parts of the body. Hopefully that makes sense. And then the last one is the KIT enzyme, the KIT enzyme. And I'll list all of these underneath. Here's the problem though. If you've done a 23andMe or you've done an Ancestry.com, a lot of the times you won't see these particular gene SNPs on there, especially if you've done it recently or within the last 3 or 4 years before after they changed the chip to the version 6 version. The version 5 and the version 4, which was before 2017, have a lot of these genes. If you have done one more recently, you're not going to see these. And it doesn't surprise me because they're not really concerned about nutritional approaches to support your genetic challenges. So anyways, the KIT enzyme. The KIT enzyme, it's really, really important. It's a protein that's found in the cell membranes, and it has stem cells that bind to it. And once it binds to it, it does something called phosphorylate. Phosphorylate is when it adds oxygens and phosphorus groups to the different parts of the structure, and that creates a series of reactions of chemical messengers and signaling pathways that help to make your immune system turn on, to help to rebuild red blood cells, to help to regenerate tissues. And when that's not being signaled effectively, your body's going to be in a state of stress. So these are the 5 particular enzymes that I find personally that if you have these gene SNPs polymorphisms, and I'll put a link to what a best test that I recommend that you get. It's going to be complete with all of these things, and I'll even put the links to the different types of gene SNPs so that you can be aware if you have these gene SNPs or not, or how to find out if you do. But if you do, then chances are very high that you're going to be dealing with an exhaustion and burnout problem. Now, if you're looking for, okay, well, what do I do about it now? What I'm going to do is I'm going to create another video called How Do I Address the Top 5 Gene SNPs for Fatigue specifically. Then I'm going to do that in our next video. Just realize that with progesterone not converting into cortisol, potentially I can either support the cofactors that make that work better, or I can actually just give you cortisol support right away. Now, I wouldn't do that without knowing what your levels are, because maybe they're fine. But if they're testing low and you're under a lot of stress and you're having a problem converting that progesterone into cortisol, then that's going to be the solution, is by getting you some exogenous or from outside the body production support of cortisol that will help you deal with that gene SNP. So if you like this video, just make sure to give me a thumbs up, give me a like. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and then I will create another video. Just click on it over here to learn about what you need to do to support these genes. Hope that was helpful, and I'll see you on the next video.